16th episode of the PiP. As always, I am Jacob, and I am here with my friend Khalid.
How are you doing?
I am doing pretty well myself, but I have found out within... how do I phrase this? There was a Cold War leak, I guess, for like DLCs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna jump right on into it.
Okay.
So the leak includes like a nighttime Christmas Nuketown map. And I don't know if this is true, but I heard like a speculation that there could be like a Christmas Easter egg on it, possibly.
Huh.
Which could be cool. I'm not sure like what all about it. I've read about it and heard people talk about it. I haven't seen any pictures or anything. Nothing like that. Either way, it's a Black Ops game, so you know they're going all out on Nuketown.
Yeah. Do you remember that the Easter egg with Nuketown where it's like you shoot all the mannequins and they come to life? That was a thing.
I thought it was you shot all the mannequins and there was like a bomb. I don't know. I do remember the shooting all the mannequins part though.
Let me see. I think it was. Let me see. I want to see about that one. Because I think they came to life, but maybe it wasn't all a dream. It was funny because I was talking about like leaks. Yeah, the robot mannequins attack Black Ops 3. Yeah, so on Nuketown, if you shoot all the mannequins' heads off, and then under 2 minutes, they become like a zombies and they'll attack you. But I was talking about this earlier today. It's like, what happens if like publishers start doing a thing like if there's any leaks, they just won't release the stuff. So there's like people just. I mean, of course, there's gonna be some people who just want to leak, just to cause that kind of like sadness. But it'd be very interesting. It's like, fine, since you leaked it, we're not going to tell you.
Skoldick in the chat said that they came to life and chased you, but they thought that they froze if you looked at them, like I guess like weeping angels.
Geesh, that is terrifying and wonderful.
It would be terrifying. Like if I saw a mannequin, like you just walking on the map and a mannequin comes to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder how. It's weird though because you could be looking at one mannequin. I wonder if your reticle has to be on them, or if you're just looking at them, kind of.
I always said that I would love a game like that where it's you versus the other team, but then there's also something else happening, like maybe dinosaurs are running the map or zombies, and it's just kind of like straight havoc. I don't know. Well, yes.
Well, so I read an article today about a Nintendo Switch hacker.
Mm-hmm.
So he leaked information about the Switch before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has been sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Oh my goodness. Is that the one that was like that? Where was that giant leak that happened? And like I think Nintendo was just losing their minds about it. So maybe it was I think it was like a giant drop. Maybe it was that one. Like Smash Bros got leaked, just a bunch of stuff. I think it was that person. But yeah, wow, 3 years for it.
Not for that. You see, the FBI searched his house basically, or all of his files, and they found thousands of private Nintendo files that he was using to leak. along with more than 1,000 pieces of child pornography.
Jesus Christ.
And it was just labeled bad stuff. That's all it was labeled.
Oh.
So it's almost like it was just put there for him to find.
Yeah. Huh. Like,
but if he didn't,
what? You know what I mean? The conspiracy theorist in me, but just like the orgy of evidence.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I don't know though. I started reading it because I thought it was gonna be like, oh, they're cracking down on hackers, and then I was like, ooh, that was not what I expected to read.
That's okay. Right, that went a different direction.
That was not about to switch.
Well, it was a switch on all of what this conversation was. Now, did you also hear like the cool things in game news that Cyberpunk 2077 has like surpassed pre-orders for like all the Witchers, which I think is kind of cool.
I did not hear that.
I'm hoping, like, again, I don't know when I'm going to get a next gen, but I really want this game to succeed. So, yeah. Not just because, so it's for multiple reasons, but one, because Code Red has a great history in my book when it comes to like what they did with The Witcher. There is passion behind the project, and then also that the fans get what what they craved. Even if it's a game I never play, I think like I really hope that it does well across the board. And it's not like a Duke Nukem, or was it Duke Nukem Forever, whatever, where just such a hype and then it just fizzles kind of thing. But
now, we may have talked about this before, but did you hear about like the Galactus event in Fortnite?
As in Galactus from Marvel?
Yeah.
No.
Because, like, technically when Fortnite... I say technically. I think Fortnite was still, like... It wasn't early access or anything like that. It was just in beta, technically.
Yeah.
And Marvel, like, when in-game was coming out, Marvel gave them the rights to use, like, Thanos and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird. But now, apparently, there's a Galactus event. It's called After months of hype and anticipation for Nexus War. Tuesday, with an epic Devourer of Worlds event, which saw the iconic Marvel villain Galactus confronting the game's map after slowly inching towards it throughout the season. Oh wow, so apparently he was just up there, flying down. There's a bunch of Marvel stuff going on in this event, like Iron Man, like just a lot of stuff. I'm sure this could be like a 30-minute topic to talk about, but I don't play Fortnite. I just thought it was interesting that Marvel was so willing to give Fortnite rights to use the characters.
It is very impressive.
I'm like, I don't understand how Fortnite is still big. If that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. I mean, that thinking of the Marvel thing, like when they were getting there for something that I think it was technically early access or after beta, before early access. I don't know. But when it was rushed right there, it was really weird that they were getting this license for a game that technically isn't out.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine just that company. Imagine that getting blockbuster Disney Marvel money to, you know what I mean, for these characters when your game isn't really on the shelves, so to speak. But, and DC gives them like property rights too. Like there's a lot of DC stuff that comes out they use.
Jeez. See, like, in my opinion, in the way I saw it, because I played like, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or whatever. I played that and it got really big, right?
Yeah.
So it gets really big, and then as soon as it gets big, all these other battle royales come out, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Why is everyone playing Fortnite? What is this building mechanic? I don't like it. I just want to shoot.
It was funny when just like watching Robert play it, and then someone else was playing it, and I was just like, something tells me that this building mechanic is going to be more important than it seems right now. And then lo and behold, some of those guys throw up like whole houses before you can shoot them, kind of thing. Just craziness.
Yeah, like I gave it like a try, but I was immediately like, nah, this isn't for me.
Yeah, I don't do like battle royale games. I don't know. I like the movie.
I absolutely love battle royale games. They're like my favorite genre, I would say. Which is why it's so strange for me to be like, nah, I dislike that one. That one in particular just is.
So you're saying is that in the D&D game we should do a battle royale?
Yes. Would it be good? I
was like, technically we did for the tournament arc. It was a battle royale. So
we need to drop into the Shadowfell and like all our items gets like scattered basically. Just our items, and then we're split up as well. Maybe we have some madness that makes us want to fight each other and say it's just randomized what item you get. Maybe for instance, maybe Cody gets my 2 swords and I get Elderfang or something crazy like that. You just have to make do with what you got.
Causes, like, something the atmosphere causes you to auto-attune, so it doesn't really matter. Funny.
Who has Marlo?
Who attuned to the baby? That's funny. He does that. He basically, since he's a person on the field, he just hides, and then everyone basically gets eliminated, and he just wins the battle royale because he just was hanging out, eating a snake or something weird.
In PUBG, there were these players, and I've done it before too. You didn't pick up a gun. You didn't do anything. You just got a melee weapon. And you crawled to every zone without armor or anything. You just crawled, and then in the last zone with the last like person or team, if you had like a 4-man group of just people with like the frying pan, you all stand up and just go swat them. It's so funny, and you don't understand like how these people can win the games. Yeah. And sometimes I just think it's the other team is just in awe that these people lasted that long.
Yeah. They just run it. That's so great. So one thing that I did love about PUBG, well, two things. One was that I can't think of the YouTuber, but what he would do is he'd find like a little kid who's struggling and it's like, hey, come with me, we're gonna beat this game. And he just goes out and plays the game with them. And just tries to like help them out and give them loot and just tries to run the whole game, which is really cool because it's teaching a less toxic community kind of thing. But then the other thing is like the toxic side of it. When you kill someone, you go to them, and it's just like this angry corpse. Like that is the beautiful thing. Just hearing these people just like say just weird, mean stuff, but there's like, all right, there, dead guy. Okay, calm down. I'm gonna take your gun. All right, calm down.
I made one of the funniest friendships on PUBG. And I couldn't even talk to the guy because, like, personally, like using my voice, I couldn't talk to him. He was Chinese. He didn't speak English. And so he would say something in Chinese to me, and I don't understand. But based on the way he moves, I can get like the gist of what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? So we started doing, like, we actually started working together. And I remember Noah, he was like, can we just ditch this guy? And I was like, no, we are not ditching this man. We are working with him. And so I pull out Google Translate and I just go follow. Like I just do like one word things without making it complicated.
Yeah.
And I just hold it up. The way I found out he was Chinese though, because I didn't know. Obviously I don't know Chinese. I don't know what the language necessarily sounds like. I knew it sounded Asian, so I was just like ni hao, and he was like, oh, ni hao, ni hao. I was like, yes. Yeah, it was the best when I would just type the word just kill. And it would just spam it in Google Translate. And I would hear him go on the mic just shooting his gun. I still have him as a friend on my Steam. I do not talk to him though, for obvious reasons.
This every once in a while, just gonna send him a hello.
Yeah, I think that would be a very interesting like YouTube series though.
Yeah.
Like just playing with him, he doesn't, because obviously we can't communicate. It'd be like crazy hard mode duos or something.
That would be very interesting. Because I think Robert's done that before, where people are like, you have to have a mic, and he just didn't. So usually they're like about it, but through his like mannerisms and like doing stuff, they're like, oh man, this guy's awesome. It's like that's kind of cool. Just gestures and so forth to get your point across.
Yes. It's surprising how like simple it is to talk with just like in-game movements. It's like, I don't know. Well, I guess you could just like spam open a door if you want them to follow. Get on their nerves.
I mean, there's some games that have like emotes, and you can like kind of cheat the system with the emotes.
Yeah.
But I think like if it's a first-person shooter and you can still get these points across and still do well, then I feel like that's more of a shiny accomplishment.
What was I gonna say? My favorite glitch in PUBG though was at one point the cars were really glitched out. So if you hit a tree, like if you ran into a tree in a car, right? The car's hitbox will keep going even though the car is stopped. So when you're driving around, people would be like, oh, I'm gonna hide behind this tree because that way he can't hit me. Well, you just hit the tree and it still kills them. So you just go full force into this tree and it still hits them as if you just ran right into them, which is really, it was the best because they would get so angry. It's a normal reaction to just hide behind the tree, you know?
Yes.
And it just doesn't, it made them so mad. It was the best.
That reminds me of the, so there was a glitch in Infinite Warfare. So they did this DLC, and the gun is a convertible gun. So it goes from a shotgun to a sniper rifle. But like, so we're jumping around, and then I get shot by a guy who's in the air, and I'm to his side. I'm not in front of him, but somehow he hits me. And then you keep seeing this where people are getting these impossible weird shots, different angles. And all of a sudden the same gun is popping up, and then people are like cursing on my team and then switching to the gun, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So what happened is, when you turn it into a sniper rifle, it's still a shotgun. So imagine 20 spreads go out with accuracy, one-shot kills, infinite range of a sniper rifle, but spread out like a shotgun. So it drops people. It was just like the scores were ridiculous. Like they're super high scores, and everyone who's using it had the highest, and people were angry and dropping out of the game. It's like, man, this is hilarious. So dumb things. Like sometimes even like barely around a corner, like you're just kind of poking out a little bit, catch you. So goofy, man.
That sounds terrible.
I mean, yes, it was terrible, but it was.
But it's funny.
I don't know. Yeah, it was. I mean, like, those are situations where it's just like, if it was a different gamer, what rage they would have. Like,
if it was
it
Noah?
Or so, like, there was a game that we're playing. I was playing for was it Advanced Warfare? Advanced Warfare, there's these like dual arm cannons you can have. They're like 2 guns on each arm. And you just, like, they're named like coffee and eggs and just weird names, but you can have, so you don't have any other like weapon. You're just using these 2 guns on each, or 1 gun on each arm kind of thing. And so the game is like command post or objective capturing, but the opposite team figured out where we spawn and they surrounded us. So when we spawn, all of them just start shooting at once. So you just land in this daisy chain of people firing at you. And so there's no way you can get loose because it's the standard. So they don't get killed by friendly fire. And literally just like spawn, murder, spawn. You see all like the people leaving the team. I'm laughing hysterically. And so the way that we get out of it is that the moment that I start spawning, I hold on to the Simtech button. So it drops a Simtech when I die, and it just blew them up, and then whatever. But my gosh, dude, just everyone. Like, I really wish I could have like recorded it, because it's just this cacophonous sound of just fully auto weapons, and then just my teammates screaming about it. So good. So funny. It was like all the people who are just raging about it and just wanting to report. I'm like, why? It's a game. It's cool.
Someone on Valorant did that. Do you know what Valorant is?
Mm-mm.
Do you know what CSGO is?
Yes.
Valorant is like a cel-shaded CSGO.
Okay.
So take Fortnite graphics and plop it on CSGO. You got Valorant. Okay. But they do have different like abilities or whatever. It's not just CSGO, it just plays a lot like it. So I would say the abilities are more, they aren't like siege abilities where they're gadgets. They're more like Overwatch abilities, where it could be like a power, it could just be something you have. Well, they all lined up on like this one door, like a whole team just lined up on this one door, and you just see like they're all waiting and they're going, hold it, waiting for someone to peek this door because one of their friends always goes to that door. And so he walks through the door, and the whole enemy team just blasts him all at the same time. And you get like the point of view from his team, and there was someone behind them. He's like, well, I ain't going through that door, I'll tell you that much.
So wonderful, man.
Everyone's like, what? Where is everyone? He's like, they're behind this door, we ain't going through it. Go the other way.
Freaking yeah.
There was some updates to Siege recently.
Oh, okay. So is the Tom Clancy? What's his name? Sam Fisher. Is he a permanent character, or was he just like a seasonal character?
So permanent.
Okay.
So each season they had like I think 2 new characters. And so he's, as far as I know, he's permanent. I haven't heard anything that says he isn't. But there are some interesting changes. For instance, I know Josh is listening, so he might find this interesting. There's a yokai drone. So Echo has a drone, and basically it used to be able to go invisible, but now it can't. They just removed its invisibility feature.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Probably because people had a hard time finding it. There could have been some like cheaty. I know how that sounds, but there could have been like some cheaty place to put it on some maps where you just couldn't find it no matter what. The number Ash, her number of breaching rounds is instead of 2, it went up to 3. Its damage is reduced to 50 HP though from its previous 90.
Ooh,
and now, instead of a claymore, now she has stun grenades.
Okay.
I don't know, some of these I can see. They didn't mess with any of the characters I play, so I don't care. Wait a second. Maybe they did. You can choose 2, 4, and 6 X-Kyros to shoot from the X-Kyro launcher. A crosshair or red highlight are visible from the ad sing. The visual guides will change according to the configure. Oh, that's cool. They changed Hibana, the only one out of all these characters right here that I play in a good way. So let's see what Josh had to say about this. Josh said that's crazy. So the characters that have changed are Hibana, Jaeger, Echo, Ash, Twitch, Wamai, Dakaibi, and Valkyrie. Nothing too major for the other ones. Except for Wamai, Magnet has been removed when the device auto-destroys. And he's getting impact grenades instead of a deployable shield. Apparently the Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer it's not going to be available when it releases. We all knew that, but apparently the reason for that is because it's going to be its own standalone thing, not like a battle or a co-op kind of thing.
Oh, so it's going to be like Warzone? Because isn't Warzone independent as well as being a part of Call of Duty?
Yes, because it says, according to this article, it says it sounds like that it's partially going to be its own big standalone product. So I don't know if they're going to sell it or if it's just going to be like, if you bought the game, you get it, but you could buy it independently. Because CD Projekt Red, they say they don't call it a mode at all as well. It has its own separate dedicated production, and it's not just production. A big production team as well. So, yes.
A big production dog. It's awesome. There has been like still talks that EA has said that DICE is going to do Battlefield 6. But now the speculations are going, is it going to be a science fiction or whatever? I just want it to be just regular. Because I don't think they finished off the story in Battlefield 4. That was Battlefield 3's like storyline. So
you want a Battlefield 3 like remake?
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, I have no real interest in getting a next gen, but the minute if they say Battlefield 3 is getting a remake, then there you go. I have to, because that game, man, ooh, such a fun game.
The way you said that reminds me of the girl, I think 23 or whatever, from Logan. I don't know, he says something and she goes, such a nice man. Is there anything else? Oh, Tarkov got some major map redone, like reworks kind of thing. It's like, I say major as in like there were buildings that I had never been in before. Like you just couldn't open at all, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is like, well, me and Noah, because last time we played, it was me, Noah, and Josh a few months ago. And yesterday, me and Noah were playing. I'm like, I've never been in this building before. Is this a new building? And he's like, no, this ain't a new building. I'm like, have you ever been in it before? He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just dumb. And then we go outside of the building. I'm like, nah, this building has never been opened before. And he's like, bet. And he walks outside. He's like, oh, you're right. This building hasn't been opened before. because the location is like it's one of the warehouses in customs that was always closed. It was the only one that hasn't been open for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right next to one of the gate jumps that you can use to like bypass a long way. It's really hard to do. That's why we haven't taken Josh to go do it yet. Because it's like you either do it, you get stuck and die, or you don't do it, if that makes sense.
It does.
So that was very interesting.
Now, have you heard about the Xbox S series?
I'm gonna be honest, I know there's a PS5 and a new Xbox. I don't know anything about the Xbox because their naming scheme is dumb.
It doesn't make sense. You're correct. I don't know what
Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One. Then you got like the Scorpio or just some garbage. It's like just make it simple.
It's like someone's like Xbox X. Are you meaning 10? Xbox, what are we doing?
It's like that's the only thing I can hate on Xbox for. And that's just because I grew up playing it, is just the naming. I just need it to not be garbage.
Well, like supposedly the Nintendo 64 was called like the was it Nintendo Dolphin before?
Huh.
But,
well, that would make sense as to why the emulator for that is called the Dolphin emulator.
Huh. Didn't know that one. But so the Xbox S series it's smaller, it's sleeker, but it supposedly has the same like performance of its next gen brother.
Oh,
yeah. Well, so what's it going to do though that's making it so like newsworthy is that you can use PlayStation 2 emulators on it. And like
on
even
the Xbox?
that, yes.
Isn't that like breaking some legal shit?
You think so?
Pardon
so
my friend.
PSP first came out. PSP first came out, and that was the thing where people were downloading emulators onto the PSP.
Oh yeah.
And they were like looking at legal actions, and so PlayStation was like, well, Sony was just like, hey, download this little patch, and the patch destroyed the capabilities of the emulators. So the only way that you can get it is finding like the special edition with Spider-Man, whatever, first series of PSPs, which I own because I have two, and that's for that one reason. And so like every game you got as well. So they did it for a while for the patches optionally, but then they made their games cause the updates and it would put the patch in. Very sneaky.
It's like that with the DS as well, because you can put custom firmware on the DS and the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
It got really hard for the DS until like one of the more recent updates, like the big update where it's not like a 14.1. It's like it goes from 14 to 15 kind of update.
Yeah.
Because I know a guy who will not be named that has done the custom
Scott
firmware.
Lang?
What? Is
it Scott Lang?
I don't know. No, it's not Scott Lang. You talking about Ant-Man?
Yes. Because you're like, I know a guy. I'm like, you just got that from Ant-Man. I've seen that movie.
But no, he's done like the firmware on the Switch and the DS, and they need specific like serial numbers because they've hard patched the new ones. It's kind of like, ew, why you do that? Josh in chat said they better not try to sell him another Cyberpunk 2077 after making me wait through like 3 or 4 delays.
That's fair. That's fair. It'd be kind of fun.
It is fair. Have you ever have you seen any like Godfall gameplay?
So I did when like just I guess the gameplay trailer. The trailer, and then it's like a half gameplay trailer, so it only shows the minimal stuff. But I was saying that it looks like Too Human. It looks like the same world as Too Human. Really cool designs, but just kind of that.
Remember you say that.
Yeah, the weird like technological Asgardian look to it.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of God of War in just like the camera angles, a little bit of Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Reminds me of like a bunch of different games combined together, but it looked good. It didn't look better. Apparently, the God of War art director has released some Chrono Trigger stuff, redesigns.
Huh.
Like 3D redesigns, so maybe it might be getting something soon.
Does it seem like it's not wishful thinking, but actual going to put the work in?
I don't know. This is like some Final Fantasy level hair detail in this model. I only really have like the pictures to talk about it. Three. So he's only done 3 characters. Maybe it's not just redo. Maybe they're not doing the game, but this dude just really likes the game and is doing all the artwork for it. That seems more likely. Free to play. Blah, blah. That's interesting. Rocket League, now you can choose. Rocket League has its own playlists in it.
Yeah.
You can now, via the new update, choose one of the songs from the playlist. And whenever you score a goal, it'll play a segment from the song. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can choose the segment. Well, I say as of the update, but the update isn't out yet. This is just what's coming.
Now, it will be... I'm trying to think how to say that one. So they're going to do it in which way? Where is it going to be like 5 seconds of the song, so they're not dealing with like copyright issues, or they're going to...
Well, they have their own playlist in the game from Spotify, I think. So they already have the rights to use this music.
Mm-hmm.
The goal. So every time you get a goal, there's like a giant horn that sounds. So I guess it'll just replace the horn.
Okay.
With like a little snippet, however long the horn was. So I hope you can choose what it says, so you can choose like the best part of the song.
Yeah.
I bet there's going to be some like Rocket League memes where they choose like a really funny part of the song and it's just like insert funny meme and then laugh at the competitors through voice chat.
Because are your opponents going to also hear the sound?
Yeah, because since all the music is already in Rocket League, they should have it. So.
Oh. Now, what about like profanity? Does Rocket League allow profanity, even though Spotify does?
I don't know. Most of the music in Rocket League is like electronic.
Okay.
So some of them have lyrics, but I don't think most of them have profanity, especially since it went, like Epic Games bought it.
Oh.
Ugh. They made it free to play as well, so more kids probably have access to it. Another ugh.
Hey, the little kids become the players of the future kind of thing, you know?
Oh, it's not that. I just don't want them turning the game more childish for them. in that way. It's like the game's pretty simple as it is. I don't know what they could do. I just don't want it to be done, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. How will they turn it childish is a very interesting thought. Like how they.
Maybe just putting too many events in and stuff like that. Because
have a robot crossover. Have a robots crossover.
they have pretty like staple events go on in Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
Like every summer, there's the summer event. There's a Chinese New Year event. The summer event brings in like you play Rocket League on a beach. I don't know. It's really cool. I don't know how they would do it. I just know it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Also, it is semi. Like I don't know. I don't like that Epic Games owns it now.
Okay.
Because I hate the Epic Games launcher.
What do you mean by that?
So, whoa, you still here? Confused. Khaled. 1 second. We will get him right back. This record. Alright, here we go. Hello.
Hello.
All
right, that was
freaked out.
Was that?
I said Discord freaked out, and then you couldn't hear me. Anyway.
Don't talk about Epic Games, bro.
So you know how there's like Steam, and you can buy your games off of Steam?
Yeah.
So when Fortnite came out, and it wasn't popular before Fortnite became popular, like the Epic Games launcher.
Yes.
Like, I will go on the Epic Games launcher only to get the free games if they're good. Other than that, I don't mess with the Epic Games launcher because I feel like it's garbage. It's not optimized. It's the same reason why I don't like going to get games from Origin, which is EA's launcher, or Uplay, which is Ubisoft. It's like they don't want to put their games on Steam. They want to make all the money kind of thing.
Okay.
And I understand this, but Origin, I would lean to say Origin realized that it has failed because it put all of its games on Steam again. Whereas, like, you couldn't get Dead Space 3 on Steam, you couldn't get Apex Legends, which is like an Origin free-to-play thing. Those are now getting moved to Steam. The Battlefield games go into Steam. All this stuff. And I'm just like, why? In Ubisoft, you could still already buy your games on Steam. It would just open up in Origin. So I don't like the Epic Games launcher. And if I had to point out 2 reasons, it's because it never remembers my password. And it's a whole hassle because there's been like multiple times, by multiple I mean like 3 or 4, where I put in the correct password. It's like, oh, we need you to reset your password. Send an email to your email. I'm like, okay, I'll do this. Now, Colin, tell me how long it takes to send an email to reset your password to your email. Usually.
Usually like it's almost instantaneous.
Yeah, okay. It took like 2 days.
Oh my lord.
And by the time it got in my email, it was expired. And I had to do another one.
That's funny.
This has ruined my Epic Games experience. That is all I am saying.
As long as you have like a valid reason for disdain, I would say.
Yes, I agree. Like, Origin wasn't bad once I learned how to use it, but I would still prefer Steam because everyone uses Steam. It's sort of like the same reason why people on PlayStation hate Xbox, vice versa. It's like they're making competitors for something that doesn't necessarily need competition.
Yeah.
Because people are going to get whatever their friends are playing on. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's where I stand on it. It's like Rocket League is a cross-platform game. You can play it on anything and play with your friends. If all games could be like that, there wouldn't be a problem.
Let's see what PlayStation's are. Well, Call of Duty went to that one, which is very impressive and wanted.
Yeah, it did. Warzone. I know Warzone did because I'm able to play with my friend James, who is stationed somewhere in the Air Force. And I always get it wrong, so it's not even worth saying. I just know it's up north somewhere.
It's funny.
Is there any D&D things that are new?
Well, I am working on just playing through Tasha's and seeing what character creation through Tasha is about. I'm enjoying it.
That is nice.
Other than that, no. But
you given any more looks into the Artificer?
I have not really. I think that just because since I own like the Iberon books, it'd probably be if I go back into Iberon, then I'll start looking through Artificer. I don't know that. That's just my mindset on it. Just with the, I don't know, because I think Alchemist might be a very interesting read, but again, I don't know. So,
if it didn't come out in Tasha's, the Unearthed Arcana is just sort of void now.
Basically, well, yeah. So, because they say that a rule of thumb is about a year. So if it's in Unearthed Arcana, and a year's passed and they've already released stuff, then it's probably never going to come out.
Yeah, because Josh asked me to look into the Raven Warlock pack, like the Raven Queens pack, on the website that is usually really good about doing this sort of thing. It's called D&D5e, Wikidot or .wikidot.com. There's a whole lot of dots in that in that URL. But they have just removed it entirely.
I kind of like that. I kind of like them just because at first there were people who were like, I forgot what class it was, but someone's like, "Could I play this class?" And then it was just there, and then me having to like try to dig to find out where its origins were, and it's just like this came from 2016. It was just there, nothing. It wasn't used, and there was no reason for it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying that where I'll say like if it's an updated Unearthed Arcana, then we can I'll put it to consideration as long as it's updated.
Yeah. See, like on the website now, they have Unearthed Arcana. Beside it, in like parentheses, it says there's a link, a highlighted word, archived. But so basically, what they've done is the Unearthed Arcana that's still like liable to your year of thumb, I would assume, because on here, you still got the Way of the Ascendant Dragon, the Drake Warden, like the new things that have come out. You still got that.
Yes.
But under archive, they've moved it. Like the ones that are over or old, too old, they've just moved. They've archived it.
I like that.
I like that too because it made it easier. Because I don't think Josh is gonna like my answer to his questions. He wanted to use that as the thing, and I asked him, was it still in? I literally asked him earlier, I was like, is it still in UA? And he was like, yeah, it is. And I was like, I'm going to ask Kyle about this later, because I'm pretty sure what you just said, like literally what I just asked you, if it's been in UA for like over a year, if it didn't come out in Tasha's, it's probably not going to be updated at all.
But I'll also play the DM like yes, but. Well, I guess it's improv first, D&D now. But so the yes, but. So like say, I don't think what Oath of the Crown, like Artoris's Oath. I think that one was a UA as well. It might be Sword Coast, but I'm pretty sure.
Oath of the Crown?
Yeah. It might have gone to Sword Coast, but I think it was just a UA.
I can tell you.
Please do.
It was Sword Coast.
Okay, good. So then, that means I should buy that book.
Yeah, it went to Sword Coast. It wasn't in the archived at all. Oh. And it says the source under the Sword Coast on this website.
Okay. I know a lot of people say with the Sword Coast, like if you're homebrewing, then that book isn't really good for you because it kind of touches on a lot of stuff that is in the Forgotten Realms and history and so forth. But there's some very interesting stuff in there because I think the Genasi is in there. And there's like 2 other classes I think are from that. So there's some flavor.
Yes. There is also, I'm pretty sure. Nope, don't know. This is a great old one. The Chain Guard.
Yeah. Good old Thrazdun.
Yep. That is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that old dinosaur or whatever. Therizinosaur. It looks like I think we called that one the Wolverine bird.
The Wolverine bird?
Yeah, it has these giant Wolverine-like talons. Like Wolverine, the Marvel, like X-Men thing.
It's terrifying. Scary. Whereas like birds just decided to be terrifying before they turned into chickens. It's like...
Yeah, because it was as big, I don't know, it's as big as like an Ark. It's as big as a Carno, but it's just a bird.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a chicken. Well, it doesn't have wings. It's just a chicken with giant claws.
Yeah.
And it'll murder you. Like, you don't have to do anything to it. It just murders you for fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I think me and you have talked about the terror birds. And like the age where the Earth was like, man, for the memes, I guess. It's just the most weirdest amount of just terrifying birds.
It's funny because we call the Therizinosaur terror bird because it is more terrifying than the terror bird. It started out as a mistake, but then it turned into like a reality.
That's all wonderful evolutions, I think.
Yeah, no.
I mean, to be fair, if I had the ability, I would bring back like some crazy animals, just let them just roam the world, just to, you know. I mean, raise your hands if you want to see a dodo bird in real life. You mean, or even an elephant bird? Come on, was it a great Mo? It was a great Moa.
The Great Mo. It becomes a god on like Madagascar. All hail the Great Mo.
Oh, you're not me, King Julian.
I was thinking that as well.
Yeah.
And this is my bird, Mo.
This is my bird, is Mo. That show. Because I remember my nieces and nephews watching that show, and I'm just like, "What is this?" And then like 6 hours in, like I can't stop watching this. And then even Robert's nieces would watch it, and it's just like, I want to play Call of Duty, and then again 6 hours in, like, why have I been watching this show for so long?
I don't know, like some of that, like the shows are really interesting, and then some of it's just like you start watching it, and it's just like, now I'm just too comfortable to change.
I want to change it, but it sucks people in because when I took a step back, it's like when like it was during like the holidays, and just take a step back and like, weren't we say we're going to play a video game after this? And then someone would come in and then kind of like bring that up, like, okay, you're done watching the show, and then there's just silence, and then they're just standing staring at this goofy show. It's just, I don't know, something about the Madagascar show that just caused people just to focus in on it.
It was a pretty good show. It had a very good like storyboard, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. Like there are some like laugh out loud moments to it, so it's not just like being grumpy.
I had another thing. I didn't know Tom Holland was going to be in a Uncharted movie.
Yeah.
that was my thing. That was the whole thing.
So supposedly he's going to play a young Nathan Drake.
I can see it.
I mean, he has to. I mean, he's a grown man, but he still looks like a child. You know what I mean?
I can see it.
There's a bunch of camps that wanted Nathan Fillion to play Nathan Drake. Not really the complete on board with that. But if it's, so my thing is, are they going to go, Tom Holland, thank you for your service, now we're going to hire an actor to play an adult kind of thing? So I don't know. I don't know where that's going to sit and so forth. But yeah, there's a leak, or maybe it's a reveal, but he's wearing the costume, like the Nathan Drake costume.
Yeah, I'm looking at that picture right now.
So,
because he's gonna be live at the Game Awards, and they have a picture of him in that costume.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's interesting. Yeah, I saw that like 4 hours ago. I had just forgotten until now.
But I still think he's a better Nathan Drake than the entirety of the Monster Hunter movie existing. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, saw the end to the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Okay.
I think it was I think I like both of the Spider-Man games.
Mm-hmm.
The new one, I like most Spider-Man games, but the new ones, they set like a whole different tier of Spider-Man games, I think. Because it's almost like you're playing a movie instead of playing a game.
Yes.
Now, the Miles Morales ending was really good. It's still new, so I won't spoil anything.
Good.
I'll just say it really showed. You want me to tell you after?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll tell you after. That way I don't venture too far. I don't know how to walk the line, because it's like if I say one thing about it, it could be just spoiled for you.
Yeah.
So
that's
if anyone what?
Go ahead. Maybe
I was gonna say, if anyone was wondering if it was good or if they should watch it, if they watch the first Spider-Man game playthrough or ending, you should. It's completely different, and it's all about Miles. It's really good. That's all I have to say.
I've been listening to a lot of that album, but we can talk about that on that other part.
Album? What? Well, you know what time it is?
Perfect segue. So the time is 11:30. So we like doing a segment called "What are you watching, playing, reading, listening to?" So Jacob, what you got for us?
Rewatching Fate Zero with Josh. I watched Baby Driver over the weekend.
How do you feel about that one?
I hadn't seen it before. I had only seen or heard of it. I saw a clip of it on YouTube and I was like, well, now I gotta watch it because that looked pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I can relate to the character in the way that he's just quiet all the time in public. Because I do that a lot as well. When I'm not with my friends or if I'm just like existing somewhere, I'm just existing, I'm not talking. Or like, I'm just acting normal. So the driving scenes were really good. Yeah. I definitely could tell that he was gonna like flip over the girl kind of thing. I knew that the girl, like once she was like introduced, was going to be a plot point for like growth or a change. Excited to see the second one because I think a second one's coming out. Is that correct? Or do you know?
I do not know.
I'll Google it real quick. But no, that was good.
Right.
Baby Driver 2. There's only like a first look out for it. So apparently the person revealed, I don't know. They revealed that if there is one, basically, it's not going to be called Baby Driver 2. It's going to be called something else. I don't know.
Man Driver.
Man. I don't know. It was interesting. What else? I read the latest My Hero chapter. I will say that the ending was pretty amazing to the chapter. So I'm just going to explain. So like the chapter ends with Midoriya like yelling at himself, basically like he has to move. He doesn't want to be like his old worthless self that can't save anyone.
Yeah,
because this is post fight with whatever, Shigaraki. Yes, there we go. His post fight with him, so he's like his body's in shambles.
I bet.
So as he's yelling this out, Dabi. There's a whole fight, and they're trying. Genis is trying to hold down a giant thing. Genis controls like threads. He makes weird clothing. He's really weird. I like him, but then I'm like, ew, you're weird. Get away from me.
Gross.
But no, he's cool. He's about to get hit, and that's why Midoriya wants to move. And then Mirio comes out of nowhere. Mirio in the latest animated season got shot with like a quirk erasing bullet.
Oof.
So supposedly, in the anime, he doesn't have his quirk back. This is the latest chapter. It reveals that he got it back. He's the one that can phase through like walls and stuff. So his face is just like in a wall. And I don't know if this translation is correct, but when he like appeared underneath, like in the ground, his face just pops up and he just says Pog. And then as he punches someone, he's yelling Pog Champ as he punches. And I was like, no, they did not. No, they did not just say Pog Champ.
That's wonderful.
Because it wasn't just on like where I read it that said it. Yeah, I had that. I saw like someone tweeted a picture of a whole different website, and he still said PogChamp, and I was like, oh my god. But he's back. No, like he wasn't revealed to have his quirk back or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very much one of those surprises. Music. I've listened recently. I think they're called the Arctic Monkeys or something like that.
Yeah.
Listen to a YouTube channel called Comfy Beats. A person named Lily Pichu from the Offline TV streamer group does that channel. So like she makes all the music and it's all copyright free. So I might add that into our music. Some of it's good. I'm just not. All of it isn't like. It wouldn't fit. You know what I mean?
I do.
So, but they're all good in their own right. Wait, no. Games. I've been having my butt handed to me on Tarkov, and it's fun. The amount of times I've shot Josh on accident this week are probably 5. None of them were on purpose, just wrong place, wrong time. And we've started working on call-outs to prevent it. That is all I have to say on that.
Call out. No, Jacob, don't shoot me.
No. Okay. Well, when I was about to shoot him, he wouldn't say anything. He'd scream like a little girl and then get headshotted. And to be fair, I do that too. But it's just funny to say it that way. Anyway, how about you?
So watching, I started Blade of the Immortal. That one is nice, awesome looking, like a samurai story about revenge. A young girl hires this weird scarred up samurai that keeps saying that he can't die. He's killed 100+ men and comes to find out he has these worms inside of him that causes him not to die. Technically, he can put himself back together. It's really, really cool. He does something that I've made jokes about with the D&D game, is that like every person he kills, he takes their weapons. And he does a thing where someone's just like, "Oh, you're gonna fight me with that one sword," and he just dumps blades out of both sleeves. Just
it's pretty much Damocles.
Yeah, yeah, it is. But it's funny because they used to have on him, just because the swastika is obviously like Eastern, it's a good luck sign, a symbol of luck. So it's very funny to see they actually changed it. It's a really cool design on his back now, like on his toga. But it's just funny that they changed it because like, oh, okay, well, you know. So I start watching that and I thoroughly enjoy it. Because I didn't know it came out so recently. Because I watched the original anime, watched the movie, and we're talking to Raul about that. Because it's one of my favorite animes, and it's directed by Miike Takakashi. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful marriage. Then a series that I plan to start watching is what is it? It's the Tales from the Loop. And it's designed by the Swedish artist. Like it's inspired by the paintings from the Swedish artist named Simon Stålenhag.
I do not know who this is.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the trailer for it, and then I saw the artwork. Or sorry, I saw some of his artwork. Then I saw there's people like, "Whoa, what about the trailer for the show?" And then saw that as a recommendation, and then it's like, okay, so it looks like it's science fiction, retro future kind of thing. But there'd be times where you'll see like this beautiful farmland, and then there's just mech walking around in the farmland. So it's this weird fusion kind of thing. So I'm very interested to see what that might look like. Yeah, but I think those are usually the two. I was in a really weird kick for watching just horror movies, but technically they were just all bad. No, like Sleepaway Camp. Have you ever? I think I don't know if I talked about that last time.
I don't think you did.
So Sleepaway Camp is a very famous like 1980s horror movie in the vein of like Friday the 13th, and there's just like the end of the movie is the most iconic. But I don't know. It's very very weird. And then the other movies that follow after it are just terrible. And technically, now I think of it, they're set in the future, like the far future, not the far. Well, because I think the character was, let me see, the character was supposedly like 12, 13. And so the sequels that came out a few years later, she was too old, technically. I don't know. So it's like that movie's, so basically this should be the 90s, but it's still an 80s movie kind of thing. But yeah, then kind of watched, was it Herbert West, the Reanimator, caught those two movies, and boy, oh boy, those get kind of wild. Because because Herbert West is a H.P. Lovecraft story. So you know what that means.
Yeah, get crazy.
It gets crazy and crazy racist for no reason. But the movie doesn't. The movie actually does a really good job. Actually, a really good job at the toning that the way down. But yeah, listening to. I was saying that earlier. A lot of Spider-Man, like Into the Spider-Verse. I've been listening to that whole soundtrack.
Oh,
I think it's a really, really great soundtrack.
it is. Yes, just yeah.
Absolutely, and then some Rammstein as well. Catching back on some of them. I love their music. So you can't go wrong with. Reading, just different books. Nothing too like that substantial is sticking out. Going over some of the art books I own and just vegging out when I can. I'm reading a lot of Tasha's just to catch up on it, just to figure things out with players and characters and so forth.
Can I have every magic artifact in Tasha's Cauldron?
Yes, but you don't want that.
I do want that.
No, dog. Trust me, it's for your own good.
Can Nazir just be a pin cushion of curses?
A pin cushion of curses. It's a very edgy song track.
He gains immense power, but he's forever cursed, and so is his lineage.
Yeah, it goes like, what's the name of that? It's the artifact that I shared with you, the teeth.
Yeah.
You're just looking at it because I was like, what are these teeth? That's funny. And then it's like the player up to 3 teeth can be removed. So basically the person can take the tooth and put it into their teeth and it will replace their tooth. Their tooth falls out and you put the new tooth in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like up to 3 teeth. And then this table goes from like, you can have 9 cats being summoned. Like, oh, it's like, that's cool. You can have, was it a commoner? Okay, that's a very low CR rating. It's tiny bits of hit points. You want a goblin? Cool. You can have, I think it's like 10 goblins or 1 goblin like war chief. Like, all right, this is kind of funny. And then for some reason I stopped looking at the table, then looked at the word artifact and like, wait a second. And then it's just like, oh yeah, no, because then I was like, wait, that says Ifrit and Dow? You can summon Genie. And then it goes Draco Lich. I'm like, oh. And then Ancient Red Dragons. Like, okay. This doesn't belong in the player's hands right now. While it will be funny to see what happens, I don't know. I feel like it falls into the deck of many things category.
Huh.
Now, I will say that, yeah, you handled the deck of many things in your games pretty well. But you'll have these DMs that will go, the deck of many things ruined or derailed my game. And it's just like, well, until proven otherwise, I feel the deck of many things was made when you're like home for the holidays or you have no story for your campaign. So you go, hey, pull from the deck. And then that starts the story off. So like there'd be these DMs that like I wrote this game for like a year and put all this blood, sweat, and tears into it. So I put a deck of many thing and it ruined it. It's like, why was that there? Was it a part of the story? No. Then okay, there you go.
I also don't understand why they're like, oh, it ruined it. Like a thing that I do is I just go, you don't know what happened. If it's something that wouldn't immediately take place, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That way I can identify what's going to happen, figure out exactly how it's going to happen. And if I don't like it, I just change it.
Yeah.
Like, same theme. Like, if it's a good card, it's a good effect. It's a bad card, it's a bad effect. But, you know, if I feel like it's going to be, like, game breaking, then you just fix it.
Yeah, and it was one of like for the more astute DMs that want to like put that extra work in, they literally could take the deck of many things and then look at what their effects are and then write stories around it.
Yeah.
So if it's not like the group's deck of many things, but like their one bard has the deck of many things, then you start writing detailed things, because other than just like the avatar of death comes and you have to fight the avatar of death. It's like, okay, maybe some of those are whatever, but you can always flavor. It's like, okay, well, now there's the astro plane and how can you get to there? Or you have a castle that's populated by monsters, and if you defeat them, then you keep the castle. So you go into it, you make each one basically like a one shot or its own side quest. And so how can you now connect it back to the story? So let's do that. Like, what if it is a castle that populated by monsters? So what happens if the player does it and then they go, oh, well, this deed belongs to this person. This lord owns this castle. And guess what? The lord is actually the person's uncle, or maybe it's a rival. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
They don't just have to take it and just go, well, that's it. Everyone, the person went to the astral plane. He's now catatonic. The end.
He's like, dead. No.
You're like, you best believe if it's like, well, the person's in the astral plane. You know what's also in the astral plane? Gith Yankee. You know what I mean? Like, well, let's go. You know what I mean? Like now you're spell jamming and sending them through the astral plane to deal with astral dragons and the Gith Yankee and Gith Sarai. So
the cool things.
Yeah, like just means that your game's about to get bonkers. So why not?
My game is about to get bonkers.
So is mine.
Ooh, I want to play it so bad.
You can. I invite you to play the game that you're playing.
I know we were supposed to play Sunday, but it didn't work out.
I understand.
Let's reschedule for this Sunday.
I mean, I'll do it.
If everyone was down, you know, if you put a message in the chat, I would inform Noah or something.
Because I would do it, so it would be that Sunday and then also the following Sunday as well.
Ooh.
So it keeps it on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to. That's all up to you. If you want to post a message in the chat, see if everyone... Really, I guess the only person in that chat now is Cody.
Yeah.
And me, but...
Yeah.
If you want to do that, it sounds good. We can make that work. What is this? What?
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. UA. Oh. You know what didn't get moved from the UA?
What's
Dragon Wing.
Dragon Wing?
Yeah.
Oh, as the optional for Dragonborn?
Yeah.
So wait, what? I'm surprised that's not in things, because I thought flying Cobalt playable races are in now Volo's guide. So you tell me that Cobalt's got wings before the Dragonborns did?
Yes. The only reason I didn't really take it is because I now wear heavy armor, so like I can't fly. Even if I had the wings, I couldn't fly with them, which is stupid.
Makes your life difficult. Wearing Dullahan armor can fly, lose head.
Gosh. That doesn't sound like a good day.
No. Oh, that's what I was gonna say though. So like, remember during the crossover where, because what is Whisper's flying speed, like 15 feet?
Yeah, it is because I halved his movement.
Okay, so I think so with flying. I mean, again, your game, your rules. But with flying, because I was confused about it, it's just like because he was like Whisper flies up and then kind of just stops 15 feet. But I'm like, no, flying movement just means like during a round or whatever you're flying, but you can technically fly indefinitely unless you're like hovering or levitating. So I was like, so I think in the thing I was like, well, jump off a gargoyle if you want to, but you can fly straight up. But yeah, it's just like a person flying can keep going up in the atmosphere. Well, as long as the spell lasts, I should say. But it's just when it comes to keeping it manageable is just when it's just like, so your flying speed is 60, so that's your movement speed per like encounter or per movement unless something is about to happen kind of thing.
You see, I always just assumed that it was 15 feet. Like you can move it, but when you're flying, you're just 15 feet in the air. But you can still move 15 feet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. So it's because think about like with your movement speed, you can keep going 60 as long as there's more like place to go on the like forward or back. So at flying speed, technically you can just keep flying up until you're high up in the air.
Well, I didn't really specify that to him. I just sort of said your flying speed is 15. And so I guess in our minds, it's just normally that's how we imagine it.
Yeah, because when I start playing D&D and going into like movements and so forth, I think about it like Oregon Trail. Okay, like so you know, like you see the little was it the covered wagon and the little ox pulling it? It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then something happens. So the same aspects, like, okay, I want to move. So this round, I'm going to move and move and move. And so it's like, 1, 2, 3, nothing. 1, 2, 3, nothing. 1, 2, 3, goblins or a trap or something. But that's more like putting it into the most like vector war game thought of it, where it's just kind of like these squares do this square does that. But so like if it's basically when it's like loose, I think it's better just if it's loosely like when you're in loose initiative or just role playing, then it's rare that I do it where it's just like, okay, well, you've moved this far unless there's an event that happens kind of thing. But yeah,
I think because the way he did that, he made like a deal, right? I think that might also just be what he thought was one of the downsides as well.
Okay.
Is like while he can fly, his wings are eternally like cindering, which is why we call him Hot Wing. And he can talk. There is a downside to that. He just hasn't figured it out yet. He doesn't watch the podcast, so yeah. Josh, if you tell him, man, it's gonna suck to be you.
Disadvantage. No. Worst displacement.
Displacement.
Funny. But yeah. And I was saying that I did like the fact that going back to the D&D table, like that it seems to be, I would say a smash, but I do like that people are utilizing like the cubbies and so forth. So that's one thing I forgot to tell Josh. I was like, oh, they're putting books and paper in the cubbies. Yay.
you pulled it out. You're like, what is this? And I'm like, there's people using the cubbings.
That makes me happy.
I agree. I'm just glad I ordered a dice tray.
Yeah.
To sate my roll the dice gambling addiction.
Now, do you still want me to work on that purple heart?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I'll use it for something else now. Yeah.
I can return it.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
You're like, bet I'm gonna burn it now.
No, I was just like, good. Now I don't have to try to figure out how to clamp this monstrous piece of wood.
You're right. The cool thing about getting the roll the dice tray from like Wormwood during the holidays, they give you like a free bottle of the leather conditioner with it. So like you pay for the personal one, it's like $78 or something. And the lowest personal tray you can get is $70, and then the bottle of conditioner is $8. So you're literally just paying for like a cherry personal dice tray and a bottle, and then you can have the option, or you have the chance of getting something better. Which is the main reason why I do the roll the dice.
Yeah,
it's just a good deal.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I think I want to build another dice tray, but it's like, I think how many dice trays we have at the table now?
Technically, we have 8, and then the one that I just ordered.
Are you saying with the others in half? Like, because you can put them.
No, wait, crap. No, there's 9. And then there's like the little box one that you use. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So that's 10, and then it's 11 with the one I just ordered.
Now, so are you like saying that it's 4 each for the like dice tray where I have like the separations in them?
Yes.
Okay. I agree.
I found out that tray. You remember the piece of art that you bought, and you turned that into the dice tray?
Yes.
Like the black one that I really enjoy. Apparently Trey hates that one with a passion. I was like, it's the perfect height, it's the perfect walls. He's like, no, it's not, I hate it. And I'm like, why? I didn't get an answer. But my response is I always have to lean or like partially like stand up to see the ones in the other dice tray. That's my response. And I'm just like, I don't understand.
So yeah, I think I'll build that one, and then if it's used, maybe you might use it if I ever play in a game or something.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see you play at a game. I think the last time you played a game that I've ever heard of was you playing with Robert.
Correct, yeah. That was my last
He's your forever DM.
Yeah, I think
that's gonna wrap up the show, though.
Yeah. Unless anyone had any other questions, I don't. Yeah.
Let me check the chat really quick. Josh said, "Oh, if he told Noah what the downside was, he responds, well, I mean, I'm already gonna die."
Well, you know, in the world of D&D, there always are fates worse than death.
This is true. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro.
All right.
So if you enjoyed tonight's podcast and you would like to see another, please hit the follow button. If you want to watch any of the past podcasts, go to the PiP Podcast on Facebook or YouTube, or you could also go to Oni Central on YouTube. they all get uploaded to all 3 of those. We do this every Tuesday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 12 a.m. and every other Friday with a guest. And that means this Friday we are having a guest, and I won't spoil it. I will just wait for Friday. Is there anything you want to say?
No, that'll be it for me. Hopefully everyone has a great night.